All right, going into Wednesday's workout, again, we're gonna add a strength piece before if you guys have the equipment available, starting with a tempo bench press. We're gonna build up to a 5-rep max at some tempo, one hold, coming down for 3 seconds, pausing for 1, punching up for 5. If we can keep that tempo, we're on the right track. If we start coming off of that tempo, the weight's probably too challenging. And we'll talk about some safety here too. If we don't have a barbell, we can always move into dumbbell variations here. The only thing we're gonna do is increase the number of repetitions. Again, assuming you might not have a whole lot of a load to work with, but we'll talk about that as well. Moving into part 2, 12-minute AMRAP. Power cleans into ring push-ups. Now the ladder here is going to be ascending by 2 reps. So starting with 2 power cleans, 2 ring push-ups, tacking on 2 more to go 4 and 4, going up as high as we can, and clearing 10 if possible. Don't stop at 10 to call time. Go to 12, 14, and so on and so forth. Loading on this needs to be something you can do quite a few repetitions in a row with, so maybe like 5 touch and goes. Not to say that you have to do that as your strategy, but it should be something you can move pretty well, but it's going to challenge you into those higher rounds. Ring push-ups, we'll talk about that as well. Just make sure that you guys are keeping that nice rigid position and breaking it up as often as possible. It's going to be a very muscle endurance type of workout where we need to stay well below failure. We'll talk about ways we can modify with our dumbbell, and then always with our body weight track, we'll throw in some shuttle sprints with those push-ups so you guys can still get a fantastic workout. Let's talk first and foremost about that bench press. All right, rolling into the bench press. Now, first and foremost, if you don't have a spotter, don't go super heavy today. We can still get a really good stimulus just by building up to something moderate. But let's talk about our setup first. Assuming you guys have a bench and you have some J-hooks to work with, the first thing we're gonna do is lie down, but we're gonna make sure that that bar height is appropriate. So as Jenny raises her hands, it should be about middle of our forearms. Once we have that, we're gonna make sure that that bar is to the end of the J-hook so that we don't clip it on the way up and down. And she's gonna move her body where it is once it's set so that the bar is right over her eyebrows. Hands gonna be just outside of shoulder width. You guys can vary this depending on what kind of stimulus you want. But she's gonna hook up the bar first, so thumb around, 2 fingers over, and do what we call a face pull. She's gonna pull her face to the bar with the full intention of pinching her shoulder blades together and then pressing them down into the bench at all times. So keep that contact. And notice when she did that, she did this nice little curve in her low back. That's too much, trying to let some of that tension out. But once she has this set up, she's gonna go ahead and raise that bar up, and she's gonna go ahead and lower down for 3. So 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, making contact, 1 second pause before she punches up, and 1 second at the top. So doing 2 reps in a row at tempo, 3 seconds down, dead stop, punch and hold for 1, come right back down into that rep for 5 total reps. That's gonna be our tempo prescription. From there, she'll rack with straight elbows before she lowers it down. But again, if you don't have a spotter, don't push it here today. Okay, now if we have dumbbells or kettlebells, we're gonna move into our variation with the bench press, but here's a tip. You guys gonna lie back, place those dumbbells or kettlebells on your thighs, kind of tuck your knees in your chest as you rock back to get them up over yourself, okay? So once she's here, she'll press up those elbows, lock them out. You guys can keep a neutral grip or flare out. We'd recommend to actually keep that neutral grip with those thumbs turned back behind you. The same tempo prescription. 1 second here, lowering down for 3. She's gonna try to contact that front head of the dumbbell on the bottom before she punches up. But again, we just wanna maintain that same rhythm all throughout. And what we're gonna do is increase the number of repetitions. So working up to 8 to 10 reps with this tempo prescription to make it nice and challenging for you guys. All right, now we're talking about the second piece in our power clean. Coach Jenny's gonna take a hip width stance. That bar's gonna be over the first shoelace of her shoe, so right over that base of the big toe, just so we get that nice angle coming in towards the body. She's gonna set up with her hands just outside her hips with a hook grip. So thumb around, 2 fingers over her thumb to ensure she's got a nice grip all throughout this workout. She's gonna go ahead and start on the ground with those plates resting on the floor. Come to the shoulder, 1 fluid motion for a power clean, standing all the way tall. Now, if this is difficult for you guys, i.e. you're learning this movement, we're gonna adjust this to a hang power clean. So now the rep's gonna start at the hips, lower to the top of the knees before we fire it off to the shoulders. So Coach Jenny will demo, top of the knees, up and land, stand all the way up. Now, if we're working with dumbbells or kettlebells, no problem. We're still gonna start on the floor if we feel good, otherwise starting just above the knees if we need to modify. But for this, she's got a nice narrow foot placement. 1 head of the dumbbell is going to touch down. Again, if you don't have the hamstring flexibility, you can raise up to begin your repetitions or come all the way up to that hang position. gonna jump and land just like she did with the barbell. And when she stands up, notice that that contact is on the shoulder with the rear head of the dumbbell. Okay, show dumbbell one hang power clean just so you guys can see this if you're not coming from the ground, but still standing all the way up. All right, let's talk about our ring push-up. Very challenging variation to the standard push-up. Assuming you guys have the rings, again, we want to think about that width from end of the elbow to the end of our fingertips to set up at shoulder width to make these a little bit more manageable. But what Coach Jenny's going to do, she's going to go ahead and grab it. She wants to make sure there's enough space between her knuckles and the floor when she sets the height here. But she's going to go ahead and wrap her thumbs. She's going to go and work those toes back and still maintain that straight line from shoulder, hip, and heel. She's going to lower all the way down so her shoulder touches the rings, presses up. That'd be 1 repetition. Now from here, she can come down and relax, okay? What we want to try to do is think about that rigid position, but also maintaining that angle moving together. What we don't want to see is the hips stay fixed and just this little tilting effect from the shoulders, which Jenny will demo. Notice that the hips kind of stay here. She's just dropping her chest down, okay? There'll be a no rep, okay? We're gonna make sure we move all the way up and down. And if we can't do that, a good alternative, just come down to the floor. Okay, let's talk about our full push-up. Coach Jenny's gonna set her hands at shoulder width, fingers slightly turned out. She's gonna post up on her toes. Now when she lowers, notice something. She's gonna contact her chest, thighs stay off the ground. And we wanna think about is the elbow directly over the wrist. So as she presses up, that's a full rep. Now if I'm looking down at her from above, she'll come down. I want to see like an angle here, like an arrow shape. So the torso position and the arms kind of flare like an arrow. That's a good spot to be. We don't want to be in a T shape where she flares her elbows way wide. And we don't want to be like an I where those elbows are pinched into the sides. We want to try to find that middle ground. Now assuming we struggle with these, we can always adjust to the knees. So again, straight line through the hips and now the knees without bucking the hips back. That would be cheating. She's going to keep them forward with her butt turned on, lower all the way down, still establishing those same positions in the bottom for each repetition. Now if you don't have equipment to work with the barbell, the dumbbells, instead of doing power cleans today, we're going to get that heart rate up with shuttle runs. So these are about 30 to 33 feet apart. You guys can step them out to kind of get that rough measurement. Use cones or whatever you have available to make sure you guys are marking those turnaround points. But Coach Jenny's going to start with her toes behind the line. She's going to make her way down to her 10 meters. Turn around, touch her hands down. That's 1 repetition. Come back, that'll be 2, and so on and so forth. Now some safety here. When we're turning, for a lot of us that might be a lot on the knee joint. So make sure you guys are really trying to square up your shoulders in the direction you're headed. If your low back gets tight here, don't put those hands on the ground, just kind of modify. But get after this one. This is going to be a great workout for you guys today, and we'll see you tomorrow.